Storytime with Andy and Amanda. Right, Amanda, what are we doing today?
It's story time with Andy and Amanda.
Yeah,
a slight difference this month.
Yeah, why is it a slight difference, Amanda?
Because we don't just have one guest, we have two guests.
Yeah, and the two guests are in the same room, but they're both actually from different continents. So we're covering three parts of the world this time. We've never done this before. So now, obviously, I'm going to let our guests introduce ourselves. So, guest number one, would you like to first introduce yourself and give us a piece?
Oh, okay. All right. So my name is Chuck or Charles Haffner.
Oh, I'm going to plan to change already. I thought Alta was doing it first.
Well, I live in Citrus County, Florida. In Orlando, and I would say I'm a part-time writer. I've written a couple books of my own. Orchids Under the Stars, Four Colors of My Life, and of course, If Love Was a Rose, I dedicated to the love of my life.
I
wonder who's the love of your life?
The person that forced me to go first. So,
yeah, as you can see, guys and girls, it's going to be a chaotic episode.
So the work. So today, I wrote these just earlier today. Sorry, looking for me glasses, and they're right in front. They're hanging off my shirt. I started, just.
Are you ready for us to read? Or so they introduce and then read? Or do you just want to introduction of everybody?
Your line's dropped Alta a bit there. I can't hear you. Sorry.
Okay, is he supposed to read now or?
Yeah, when you're ready, go give us your first piece, and yeah. Sorry, the line dropped then.
So I just wrote these today because it was kind of like I wanted to do something a little different. Seems like that Chuck's in an old writer's block recently as far as stuff on my Instagram page. So I wrote, these are just random thoughts. So my first one is this in quaint. I have lovely rose bunches in a bucket on a street, corners, as mothers wish. For some flowers. Sorry, it's okay. Lovely rose bunches in a bucket on a street corner as mothers wish for some flowers. So there we go. There we go.
Like that, yeah.
So that was just something, I don't know. I just happened to, I don't know why it always goes back to my mother. And I decided, oh, wow, Mother's Day. And everywhere I've ever lived on Mother's Day, I'm like every quarter mile, half mile, there'd be people standing there selling flowers. And then I saw some flowers here while I was riding around in South Africa and just popped like that. And I said, well, go ahead and write that.
Really, that's excellent stuff. So, okay, we better bring in the other guest now, hadn't we? So that way, you have people wondering who our other guest is. So, guest on the other side of Chuck, who are you then?
Hi.
Alta, you have to move near the camera. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can now. Yeah.
Okay, I think my book was on top of it. I'm Alta Mabin. I'm from South Africa, and I've written a couple of books, and I mainly focus on the Haiku and Poets Unlimited magazines that I bring out every month. But I will be reading a book which I dedicated to the love of my life, and it's called How Do I Love Thee? And it's not by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, it's by me this time.
Hey? That would have been sonnet 43 instead.
There you go, yeah. Okay, so this one is called My Moon, Finally. I got stuck at a crossroad for so many seasons. I looked to the moon with questions. Nights came only to remind me that I'm searching for a lasting love. I allowed my soul to keep seeking, and with every day I was losing hope. Slowly, my solace became my sacred moments, memories of ancient forgotten love. I have climbed the highest mountains, endured thunderous storms, endless nights of rainfall. Finally, I heard your whispers. My soul was counting the syllables of your every word. And from the moment on, I know the only path my heart will allow is to be loved by you forevermore.
Oh, Amanda, I'll let you answer that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you should try. You should try writing like that, Amanda, instead of your zombie pieces all the time.
But you want me to write some poems like that for you?
Yes. Please. Okay.
There'd
Right.
be a zombie or two in it.
Okay, I'll go next. Okay, so I've got one brand new poem. So this one I wrote recently, and I've not performed it anywhere yet. So a few people know, obviously, at the time of recording, I'm about to turn 50 next week, actually. So so this is a piece about what I was doing on every 10 years of my life. So like the first part is when I was born, obviously, then 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, to use it to symbolize how your life changes over time. So this is decades. You were too young to remember what you did when you turned 10 and can barely remember your 20th, apart from waking up covered in sick in a stranger's flat in Miles Platin after headbanging all night to a terrible Guns N' Roses tribute band. 30, you were down in Brighton visiting your friend from university, Andy, and got stuck cave exploring when the tide came in quicker than either you expected. And if it wasn't for some rapid thought, you both could have easily drowned. Haunted by recently contracting diabetes, turning 40 was a more muted affair, with your then partner and family in a local Indian curry house in Chiltern, not realising until after you had split 3 years afterwards how much they all had disliked them. Finding the right words, turning 50 when you and your wife departed to Scarborough for a short break, translating what comes next from being a child into adulthood and everything that came in between. Mapping out in seconds of 10-year blocks, mixed with motions of a brilliance and perhaps things best forgotten. Closing the door behind in your past, like half-faded confessions and diaries, and before the regrets turn into experience.
That was wonderful.
That was good. Yeah.
Cheers, guys. Just been honest, I said. Thank you. Appreciate that.
No, that was really, really good.
The last line was, but can you repeat the last line? Because I know what you said, but I'm just trying so I can make my comment.
Yeah, sure. 1 second, I'm trying to find it now. Shut the page.
Was it about
Shut the page.
instead of making it a regret to actually experience? Is that what it was? I think
I'll read the last 3 lines, probably best to explain it better in one block. So it's closing the door behind in your past, like half-faded confessions in diaries, before the regrets turn into experience.
Okay, I got you. All right, very excellent. Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
Right, okay, now we usually have Amanda next, but she should have got 2 pieces this month for various reasons. So we're going to go back to our guests now to let them do another piece each. Then we'll move on to Amanda. So, okay. Alta, would you like to carry on?
Okay, cool. So I'm going to do one now from my collection of loon poems.
Now, obviously, people don't know what loon poems are, Alta. Do you want to quickly explain?
Okay, so the quickest way to explain is that they are American haiku, right?
Yeah.
American poetry, really.
Yeah.
And it's 5-3-5 syllables, so you still have the 3 lines. So instead of with haiku, you have 5-7-5. With loon, you have 5-3-5, but you can also do the 3-5-3
in words.
In words.
In words.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's similar. It's not the same thing as an elf chant, but you can, like an elf chant is actually like 1, then 2 word, 1 word, 2 words, 3 words, 4 words, and 1 word. And then like a cinquain also can also use like words instead of syllables too. But it seems
it works better.
Yeah, but we like to work with the syllables more since we.
Right, yeah. It's I know Alta's encouraged. I've had a go at a few, and it was great fun. But I have to ask because Amanda's you've not heard of that form before, I presume, Amanda, have you?
No, I've not come across that.
So we'll get her having a go on that next. It'll be murder, probably.
Murder. Found the secret agent.
Right, sorry, Alta. Okay, seriously.
No, it's okay. All right, so do you want me to read 1 or 2?
Give us 2 or 3 if you want, okay? Because
Okay, okay.
we'll come back to you again and do some more in a bit anyway.
Okay. Orchids in full bloom, sunny skies, always remembered. That's one that I wrote for Chuck's mum, because orchid for him is a symbolism for his mum. And then yellow orchid sun, found my heart, behold forever. I'm sure you can see the resemblance to that one as well. The fact that he's forgotten that I wrote that one.
Excellent.
And then
Can't remember them all.
I know, right? And then one more. This I wrote to somebody telling me about snow. And I can't quite remember whether it was you or whether it was Phil, but you were kind of bitching about the rain, and I was, or the snow, and I was like, you haven't been able to take a photo. I'm sure it was you.
Probably.
So I sat later on and I was like, damn, I wish I had snow to take a photo of. I go dance in the snow. So I decided to rather write a poem about it. Sparkly white drizzle blanketing the once evergreen.
Yeah, the thing about it though is, there was the British complaining about the rain is kind of like how the Floridians would complain about the hot weather. You know what I mean?
That's true. Well, do you agree with me there, Amanda? That's definitely true, isn't it?
Like he was standing in the sun earlier on, and he's like, "Oh, this is so nice and hot. I love it." And I was sitting in the shade with the dogs. And I'm like, "Oh dear Lord, it's only autumn.
Yeah, it's not
even summer.
It's not hot enough.
So it's still coming. Like the 20 degrees is still coming. And then he's going to be like, oh no, I'm out of here. It's now winter in Florida. I'm going back now.
You're going to run back, definitely. So,
right now it's quite a bit warmer in Florida this year. It's like 60s Fahrenheit here. It's like 80s. It's like 20 degrees warmer.
Yeah.
So this is like,
No, he's dying for that hot.
Right. Anyway, so we better move on. Obviously, Chuck, would you like to read out something else for us now?
Sure. Do I read just one? Then we're going to go around in another circle again.
There'll be another circle around after this, definitely. So,
I wrote. This is my second poem. And this also is this. I'm just making sure crossing. No, this is just okay. This goes in the taco version. I wrote it as a taco. So I have moon rays crossing the window as elephant ears are swaying under the screaming hadidas.
Explain that to him.
Yeah, I think I need that. Man, do you need that explaining as well, Amanda?
Yeah.
Well,
It sounds nice.
Yeah.
This morning we were sitting at the table, and I'll just read it real quick again. I actually can't even read my handwriting. It's morning rays crossing the window as elephant ears are swaying under the screaming hadidas. All right, so like this morning, the hadida is a
huge bird.
A huge bird.
Ah, right.
It makes it. It just makes this hideous noise. And the elephant ears are this really big green leaf plant, and I was sitting looking out the window, and I could see it, and the sun was, so I said, here we go. So I wrote that, and it was like, so I wanted to mix like a couple things, like, because we don't call them, I don't even know what that plant is, but this is definitely like something like a South African,
It's literally a plant that if you have to put it on the other side of an elephant, it would look like it's massive. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I get you now. Well, that's really interesting.
In the States, we make funnel cake, where you fry batter and you put powdered sugar on it, but we make them where they look like elephant ears. So that's what we call them, elephant ears. Excellent. Because when she first said, look at the elephant ears, I was thinking of funnel cake. I was like, where?
Excellent. Right, well, going to move on now. I told you originally I was going to do a murder mystery. Well, I'm not going to do that now. So I'm changed my plans here. So I'm going to do a piece called Writing Group. And this is not a true story, it's a bit of flash fiction, okay? Although I think Amanda's been to groups like this before, haven't you? So this one I actually wrote in the workshop last week. So, okay, writing group. The first time you went to the writing group, they pretty well ignored you. But the second time was weirder, even confusing, when you sat down on the second table and the older woman who ran it kept calling you by the wrong name for the first 15 minutes. After the fourth time, you said, "I'm sorry, my name is Andrew, not Anthony." "I'm sorry," she replied, before turning around to the other gentleman sat next to you. "Refresh your memory, what type of poetry do you write again, Anthony?" "My name isn't Anthony, it's Michael," he tutted impatiently. "Sorry, Michael," she blushed. "I must have got mixed up there a little." You looked at him puzzled as she turned around to the third person on the other side of your table who had just arrived. "Great to see you here again, Anthony. What do you have to share this time?" "A real-life murder story, unless you start calling me David," he responded. See, that's Amanda's influence, that one, definitely. Right?
I can hear it. Yeah.
Right, anyway, of course, now, Amanda's got a couple of pieces, so we'll bring Amanda in now. So,
okay, I'm going to do my serious piece first. It's called Into the Sea. Standing on the shore, she tries to cast her worries into the sea, but the breeze takes hold, flinging them back into her face. She tries to remember times gone by, when her worries would be light enough to float away without a care. Now they collide with the waves. The weight crushes her, pushing her weary body into the sea and down, down, down. She would scream for help, but her voice is hoarse from years of shouting, and everyone who would save her is either gone or drowned in further along the coast. She realizes her solitude, then uses her last breath to scream.
Cheerful.
A nice cheerful piece.
Oh, you were in a good mood. You wrote that piece, Amanda, weren't you?
I wrote that in the workshop. I don't know what the prompt was.
Neither do I know.
Then it's a typical Amanda piece, you know. Yeah. Yeah. I was telling Chuck the other day about the last one that I read from Amanda. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the one with the blue cover. The lady that died, and then she imagine you waking up and then Ghost of Me. Yeah, I was introducing him to some of your writing the other day.
You actually have some of your books on Audible too, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like I was looking at that. I just didn't. I never went back to it because remember I was looking at this stuff there because I was like, it's been a while since I've actually read like a normal either a piece of fiction. It's usually I just been reading a lot of poetry or news. So it would be kind of neat to sit there and read something else. I think maybe one time before I was talking to Andy, I said that at one time I wanted to write like short stories, but mainly horror stuff. I love horror.
Yeah, he likes all the dark stuff in there.
Well, you can
sci-fi stuff.
Manders, the lady you need to speak to, Chuck. You two need to speak, definitely, right?
Yeah.
You do realise, Chuck, don't you, who Amanda's guru is, don't you? So, have I told you this?
Amanda,
I don't mean who's your guru then of writers?
I worship the ground that Stephen King walks on. He's like the god of horror.
You know what? I think I actually remember that he told me that you were a King fan. Yeah, it's like only stuff I read from King was like The Shining, and I think Cujo. I was more of a Clive Barker. I was more of a Clive Barker fan.
Oh yeah. I've read,
but that was many years ago.
I've read a couple of his. Nightbreed springs to mind with me, and
the
original Hellraiser came off, and I forgot it wasn't a novel. That was it. It came off something else, didn't it? So.
Yeah, Hellraiser is great too. But after Hellraiser was actually Nightbreed is actually the story is called Cabal. It's like the movie was actually called Nightbreed, even though the Nightbreed was like and then The Greatest Show on Earth, and then The Weave World. It's like Weaverworld, I liked about Weaverworld where it was basically like there was a rich man, he was like incredibly rich. What did he want? He wanted that little toy, little tin soldier, or this walking soldier that he was a kid. And, that was the only thing he wanted out of life. So I'm going off base here. So.
Oh, this podcast Storytime is a chance for us to talk about writing as well as being writers. So I have to ask Amanda this, and I don't know whether she has read it. Have you read any Clive Barker, Amanda?
I don't think I have. I feel like I got a book by him and I never read it, and I don't know if I've still got it or not.
But anybody knows what Amanda's reading's like, tell Alta and Chuck how many books you got in your Kindle.
Well, between the Kindle and the physical books in the bookcase, I think I've got about 150 books. And sometimes I'll see a book I like the look of, I'll go to buy it, and it'll say, you bought this book on such and such a day. I'm like, what? I've already got it. Where is it?
very you that. So right.
I also have to actually catch up with my Kindle and see what I haven't read. Or I'll start reading it, and then you get distracted, and you kind of never go back to it again.
Oh yeah, I've done that myself, because most of the reading I do, I'm going to and from work on the bus. So I've got my Kindle on me or paperback or whatever. So, and it's sometimes you lose your train of thought. Sometimes I know what I'm like with that. So. Like it was when just when we did the podcast today, like Amanda was listening to like one of your Audible books, weren't you? Oddly enough, by Stephen King.
That's a Stephen King one called Rose Mother.
Okay.
And I must admit, I've never.
Stephen King?
What's that?
There's the Audible song from Stephen King.
Oh, I'm sure there's Audibles from Stephen King. Yeah, I'm sure The Shining, probably most of his popular stuff, I'm sure it's probably somebody's read it, narrated it before.
Yeah, I think it's very likely. I know, Amanda, you've listened to quite a few of his on Audible, haven't you? So.
Yeah, I listened to The Stand, I think early into lockdown on audiobook, and it was 47 hours long.
Yeah.
I know it took a while, that one. I couldn't have managed that in Audible. Right, anyway.
It took me a while.
Anyway, back on the Storytime basis. Right, okay. Now we're on to our final round of reading now, so we're going to go over our guests now. So I think Chuck should start off first in this third and final round. We'll swap the order around a bit this time as well. So
okay, I have these. This is something I just read. It's just like a haiku that I don't know where I was going with it, but I decided to write. I said, let me write another poem. I said, here's my poem. It's songbirds on pillows. Red hairs dancing under space. Moonlit dreams tonight. It's just basically okay. If normally I don't like to explain my writing, but today I was imagining songbirds on pillows, and this is a red-haired person sleeping underneath of an actual moonlit sky.
That's just beautiful. Can you read that again, please, Chuck? Because I think our viewers would like to hear that again. Actually.
Songbirds on pillows, red hairs dancing under space, moonlit dreams tonight.
Beautiful. What do you think, Amanda? It's beautiful, isn't it?
It's nice.
It's really, really nice, that Chuck. I love the first. They always look haikus to me. If you have a really good first line, it can really carry a person onto the rest of the image. Yeah. It's beautiful. That's absolutely gorgeous, mate. Now, while we let Alta get ready, I'll go next then. And then we'd have two blokes and two women to finish off with. So now it's come fairly common, really, over Storytime. I've been reading a bit of either Hercule Belloc, which was 19th century French writer who did a lot of quite unusual pieces. So this is one of his, actually, and it's a comedy one. So it's called Jim, who ran away from his nurse and was eaten by a lion. Very, very sort of your sort of title, that, Amanda, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a boy whose name was Jim. His friends are very good to him. They gave him tea and cakes and jam and slices of delicious ham and chocolate with pink inside and little tricycles to ride, and read him stories through and through, and even took him to the zoo. But it was there that dreadful fate befell him, which I now relate. You know, at least you ought to know, for I told you often so, that children are never allowed to leave their nurses in a crowd. Now this was Jim's especial fallible. He ran away with his Abel. On a suspicious day, he slipped his hand and ran away. He hadn't gone a yard when bang, With open jaws, a lion sprang, and hungry began to eat the boy, beginning at his feet. Now just imagine how it feels when first your toes and then your heels, then by gradual decrease, your shins and ankles, calves and knees are slowly eaten bit by bit. No wonder Jim detested it. No wonder he shouted, "Hi!" The honest keeper heard him cry. For very fat he almost ran, the helpless little gentleman. "Ponto!" he ordered as he came, for Ponto was the lion's name. "Ponto!" he cried with angry frown. "Let go, sir. Down, sir. Put it down." The lion made a sudden stop. He let the day's immortal drop and slunk reluctant to his cage, snarling with disappointed rage. But when he bent over Jim, the honest keeper's eyes were dim. The lion hadn't reached his head. The miserable boy was dead. When nurse informed his parents, they were more concerned than I could say. His mother, as she dried her eyes, said, "Well, it gives me no surprise. He would not do as he was told." His father was more self-controlled, bade all the children around attend Jim's miserable end, and always keep a hold of nurse for fear of finding something worse. I love
But
pieces like that.
you do like your flash fiction.
Yeah,
Always liked it, yeah.
that's
Because remember
what.
the beginning of lockdown, we did that flash fiction workshop. I
Yeah.
joined you guys like once or twice.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's very narrative. Like, it's just rhyming, and I like it because it's completely mad. That's why. So, Amanda's not had to read that before, so I have to ask Amanda. What does Amanda think of
Yeah, I like that one.
that? I thought you would. Now, okay, on to Alta next. Then we can have. What do you reckon, Chuck? Should we let the girls have their say now for a bit then?
Sure.
So I would like to read my favorite feathers contribution by you, Andy N.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, I don't think Amanda has seen any of these. So
no, you haven't. You better, Alta, you better tell Amanda. Yeah, tell Amanda and our viewers what the Feathers book was. I don't think I told you about this book, Amanda.
So Feathers for Henna was 15 writers from all over the world that came together, and all I asked them was to write something with feathers, anything related to feathers, because feathers is very symbolic between myself and Henna, and to write just something that will encourage her, that when she reads it, she feels a little bit better. She's going through a very tough time from a medical point, and and Chuck, yesterday we were at the zoo, and Chuck found me an actual eagle feather. That's an actual eagle feather. Yeah, I had to actually ask them, "Will you lock me up as soon as I go out, or can I take this?" I mean, the eagle dropped it. I did ask him.
I couldn't ask Chuck sneaking around the back of it and trying to pull it off the back of the eagle.
He was going to do anything for me to have it.
Amanda, I'm not prepared to do that for you before we carry on, right?
She's talking to her son. "Oh no, you can't take it. It's illegal." I said, "Who knows? Just put it." She's holding her hand. I said, "Put it in your purse. Let's go." Then she asked, "Why would you do that?" Like, I would have put it in my pocket and walked out. And nobody ever would have known.
This is my favorite one that you contributed for this book. It goes, "4 feathers blow in the wind from out of the hedge, your dad's brush breaking in the air, giving the shallow half a chance from your neighbor's cat." We both kind of like this one, and the magpie.
My favorite is the magpie.
Yeah.
Pop it on the magpie one so I can read.
Yeah, read the magpie one as well. I don't mind, okay? Because
I gotta read the magpie.
Please, yeah, because I'll tell you the story about these two in a minute, because they're both true stories.
I think that is the magpie one.
Yeah. 2 feathers fall from the sky, and almost a victory parade. Following your neighbor's cat comes spurting down your tree after trying to attack the 2 magpies. So I was like,
kind of shows our favorite one from all the ones.
The reason why it was kind of like, she goes, well, she was like telling me about writing feathers. She's like, "I want you to write something that's happy. And I was like, encouraging. And I was like, I don't know how to write that. I was like, I don't write that kind of stuff. So it was like, but I noticed the 2 people that were writing some stuff that was kind of humorous, and maybe it was me and you. I was like, see, you got, that's what I remember. I said, look at that.
And she refers to those often because she said when she starts crying, there's the next one she starts smiling and then she starts laughing. So it's actually done exactly what it's supposed to have done for her.
But they were just like, they were true stories, because when I was growing up in the second house with my parents, the neighbours had two cats, and they were the two mother and daughter cats, and they really were bird hunters. And that's what happened both cases, where we saw the second one was coming down the tree. The mother cat had got up to try and get out two magpies, and you don't do that because they're vicious birds. And they both they dive bombed the cat, and it went straight down this oak tree backwards. Then my dad, that's the other one. My dad broke basically a sweeping brush, throwing it at the hedge, trying to give this bird a chance. So, well, thank you. They're great to hear people read them as well. So, right, Amanda, now you're going to conclude for us now, aren't you?
Yeah, I've got a silly poem, and I can't confirm or deny if it's about anybody real or who that person might be. It's called "Why You Should Never Stay Friends with Your Ex."
Oh, yeah, I know.
I knew an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many exes she didn't know what to do. She kept them around just in case, long after they'd fallen from her grace. There was one under the bed, though it's debatable whether he was dead. And the ex in the wardrobe, she tried him on for size, then dressed him up in disguise. Sometimes she added to the collection, preferring to have a varied selection, some in different sizes and shapes, and the one who liked to feed her grapes. The ex in a cupboard under the stairs, some who were broken, but she kept the spares. An ex in the fridge to keep her cool, and one she only brought out at Yule. He was rather festive. She gave each one a sedative, only reviving them one at a time, because we all know bigamy is a crime.
Anyway, no comment there, and that's all I'm going to say. Right? I know what's part of that poem off still. But anyway, guys and girls, that's the end. That's the end of the story.
Can I ask you guys a question there? I'm just curious because it's kind of like I understand, because I understand that you write it. I understand that Amanda just she doesn't write any poetry. She's not really a big fan of poetry.
Amanda, you answer that. It's your question, Amanda.
I do some poetry, but I sort of tend to go more towards fiction. But sometimes it's poetry. It just depends which I think it'll fit into.
I know this is now. See, since you're not the poet, then okay, here we go. All right, everybody, even if they're a poet or not, they write to their special someone. They write love poems, or like something like little love notes. Hi, you're so pretty. Here's a question for you. And we all have had. I'm sure all of us have had relationships with with somebody else. But this is specifically for you. Does it seem, when someone writes you, does it seem like it's better coming from a poet than from a non-poet? Now, I've been dealing with people that write poetry and have not wrote poetry, and to me, there's nothing better than a poet writing these, or somebody that writes poetry. And I don't know. I'm just asking you. It's like, do you like it if he writes you like poems or anything like? It's just question I'm just asking. Because I know you guys are married.
You wrote me more, didn't you, from Friendship to Love?
Yeah. Well, just during what we did, Chuck, was an Alta Mabin, well, we were actually friends for 9 months, Amanda, was it?
Yeah.
About 9 months it was. We met in the March. And we started off as friends, and it built up over time. And as we got together, then I wrote a book called From Friendship to Love, talking about that change. And then I did a second book on it as well. And after that, we ended up doing joint books together, then, because that's what it kind of.
I remember the 7 words, 7 minutes, 7 words.
Oh yeah. Run away with me in 7 words. We did the follow up to that. Run away with me again in 8 words. And that was like a little series of 7 and 8 word love back and forth to each other.
Yeah. I mean, what we did there,
lots of books together.
What we did there, we changed how we actually wrote that, did really, Amanda? Because when we did that, Amanda, it's worth repeating of you started off on that for the original book of that. So tell people what happened.
I just started off with the 7 words, I was trying to do a 6-word poem, and I couldn't fit it down into 6 words, so I got 7 words and I shared it. And then Andy was trying to be clever, and you continued it, didn't you? And we just kept going backwards and forwards, sort of following on from each other with these 7-word poems.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Then, 18 months later, we did Run Away With Me again in 8 words, where we moved it on to 8 words. And that was, I've got to say, that was a really tricky book to write, that, because we went for about 3 false starts on Amanda, didn't we, really? So it was because it's the first book was, we weren't planning to publish it, and it kind of made sense. That second book, we were conscious what we were doing, and it took twice as long, really, for that reason.
Yeah.
That's why. So anyway, so obviously, if people want to read your books in for you two to conclude, they could always find me and Amanda on Amazon. They're easy to find. How do people find you two then?
I think Instagram would be a great start. And then for me, my website. And Chuck, pretty much where you find me, you'll find Chuck.
If you find Alta's publishing site, then you're going to find my books on there. If you go to Angry Hobie Poetry on Instagram, you're going to find me, and then you're going to find her. Pretty much, you're going to see both of our Instagram accounts, even on our Facebook accounts too. But that's where we're at, because she published all of my books, so, and everything is right there. So
brilliant. Good luck to you.
It's been an adventure the whole time. You know what I'm saying? From past few months.
Oh God, yeah, completely. I think it is when you're living on dating like you two. I know people wonder you two. I know you two are moving in together. Well, I can understand soon. So I know me and Amanda, we've been living together for 2.5 years now. It's such an adventure moving in with other writers. So good luck to the pair of you. So now,
but to make it really quick, to answer your question, when you reach our age, you don't want to wait for anything anymore. You just go out and do it, because you understand what I'm saying. It's like you're more likely to take the risk.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. That's what you do. You get to a certain stage in your life, you just don't mess around. Get straight at it. Amanda, what do you think on that to conclude with?
Yeah, life is short.
Yeah, live it. So, right, that's it today, guys. We're going to wrap up now. Hang around, Alta and Chuck. I need to speak to you off microphone anyway. So, thank you today. It's been a pleasure to see the pair of you together. It's been great fun this today. Really been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And thank you as always, Amanda. So, right,
thank you.
To conclude, as Amanda always does, we're reading in bed. Amanda?
Bye.
See you all soon.
I usually wave as well, but people can't see me.
See you soon, guys. Storytime with Andy and Amanda.